What do you think the theme was of Mice and Men?
What do I think the theme of Mice and Men? There's a lot of themes, right? That I think one theme could be that, true friendship is something that we should seek. Sometimes in life, another theme could be sometimes in life you have to do things that you don't want to do, but you're doing it for the better of other people. Yeah, maybe that's.
What happens in the novel that supports your theme?
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes, you can. Well, the first one, like you see the friendship of Lennie and George they build together. And they have true friendship, and I think there's that theme, that constant theme of that throughout. And then towards the end, when you see Lennie, right? I'm trying to think back. Okay, when you see Lennie, he's doing things, and he's a very powerful man, not very smart. And sometimes his strength and his temper can cause him to be very, make very bad decisions. And so when he kills, the mouse and then the puppy, and then eventually he kills Curly's wife, I believe, right? And it is just showing that he is too powerful and maybe not, as smart. He can't really control himself, and so George has to make the decision that he needs to kill Lennie, because so he doesn't hurt other people.
What was your reaction to George assassinating Lennie?
When I first read it, when I was in high school, when I was your guys' age, it shocked me. It made me sad, right? But then later, as I read it again in college, and I realized that it really, maybe it was for the best, right? And maybe it's kind of like, think about like you put an animal down almost like for the better of it. And I think that was what was going through George's head, even though he didn't want to pull that trigger, right? And he ended up pulling it.
Who changed throughout the novel? If no one changed, then describe who had the best chance of changing.
Oh my gosh. Who changed throughout the novel? I don't know. Trying to think of all the characters. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that one. I mean, did people change? I mean, like, sure. I mean, okay, so like, here's a good one, Candy, right? Candy, when he was, his dog, his old, smelly, disgusting dog, right? He was more of a fun, exciting person, funny person before his dog was taken out and killed, right? Put out of its misery, which was foreshadowing Lennie's death, right? But after that, Candy, he just sits there and he realizes that his companion, his best friend, is gone. And so there's that change in him, which is the same change that takes place in George probably after he kills Lennie.
Who are your favorite characters?
Favorite? I liked Slim. Slim was a good character, I thought. Really liked Lennie, obviously, even though, like, you just look at him and you see his innocence, even though he was guilty of a lot of terrible things. He was an innocent person. And he definitely had that kind of that child in him.
Which characters did you despise?
Curly, because he thought he was like the bomb, right? And he just had like little man syndrome, so he was always angry. And so, Curly's wife, yeah, she was kind of like a gardening tool, so I didn't really like her for that.
If you lived on a ranch, who would you trust of the characters in the book?
I don't know, I'm probably forgetting some characters, but I trust George and Lennie. I trust Slim for sure. Candy. Probably not Curly. Definitely not Curly's wife.
If you were Candy, would you have let Carlson shoot your dog?
Yeah. I think so. Because at that point, like you could tell, and people put down their dogs all the time, right? It was just putting him out of his misery. Because he was in misery. That dog was And so, really, that spot right there, that part of the book, I think was just foreshadowing by Steinbeck, which was great. And it just shows you the emotions that George and Lennie, well, George specifically, is going to go through.
Did you enjoy the novel? Would you recommend Of Mice and Men to other students?
Absolutely love it because Steinbeck's awesome. It's short, right? And it has a bunch of stuff packed into it. It's great.
What do you think the theme was of the novel?
I think the theme of Mice and Men was probably about overcoming your fears of rejection, possibly.
What happens in the novel which supports your theme?
What happens in the novel that supports my theme is, was it Lennie that was the big one, right? Lennie had a fear of like being subjected to just criticism and rejection from the guys, and his brother was constantly there helping him out and just like helping him be included in everything.
What was your reaction to George assassinating Lennie?
My reaction was like, I don't know. I was really shocked that he did it just because it was like his brother, or cousin, and I mean they had grown up together and they were super close, and to like break that bond in such like a hard way, and just to end it so like just abruptly was.
Who changed throughout the novel? If no one changed, then describe who had the best chance of changing.
I think George changed throughout the novel the most because he went from being super involved in Lennie's life to wanting to make his own decisions and just live his own life and not be a part of that.
Who are your favorite characters?
The dog. I love the dogs. Those count as characters because I love them.
Why not? Which characters did you despise?
I forget his name, but the guy with the hand, with the glove. That guy, I didn't like him. Curly? I didn't like him.
If you lived on a ranch, who would you trust of the characters in the book?
I forget his name, but the guy that, what? Slim? I like Slim.
Did you enjoy the novel? Would you recommend Of Mice and Men to other students?
Yes, I enjoyed the novel. I would recommend it. It was a really good book.
1. What do you think the theme was of the novel?
The theme I thought was friendship requires sacrifice.
What happens in the novel that supports your theme?
George kills Lennie or George sacrifices Lennie so that the other men in the farm wouldn't torture him or take him in and kill him.
What was your reaction to George assassinating Lennie?
I was shocked and I was appalled.
Would you have done the same thing if you were in George's shoes?
No, I do not think I could bring myself to shoot another person.
Who changed throughout the novel? If no one changed, then describe who had the best chance of changing.
I think sort of Candy changed because at the beginning of the book he was sort of like, he was introverted. He didn't talk to anybody. He didn't really say anything to anybody. And towards the end of the book he started being more friendly towards people and talking to everybody.
Who were your favorite characters? Why did you decide they were your favorite?
I liked, my favorite was Crooks because, well, I mean, he sat by himself all the time and he was, all he did was read, so he was really smart. And he just kept to himself. He didn't bug anybody. There was no reason for anyone to be mean to him.
If you lived on a ranch, who would you trust?
Means like the characters in the book, probably Slim, because he's the guy who controls everything, probably knows the most.
If you had a plan to buy your own ranch, would you share your plan with the other drifters?
Yes, at least 2, so you have someone to help.
Would you have let Carlson shoot your dog?
Yes, because, no, never mind. Actually, I changed it to no, because I prefer to do it myself, because it's my dog, it ain't their dog. They don't decide what to do with it.
Did you enjoy the novel? Would you recommend Of Mice and Men to other students?
Yes, I like the book, even though it was a little dry sometimes.
What do you think the theme was of the novel, and why?
I think the thing was be careful who you trust because because George and Lennie, they were good friends, and what happened with Lennie and Curly's wife, and George is like, okay, I gotta shoot him.
What was your reaction to George assassinating Lennie?
My reaction was kind of surprised because Lennie and George were good friends, but it's just.
In your words, how would you describe the interactions between Crooks and Slim?
Crooks and Slim were good friends, and they've always wanted to do stuff.
Which characters help build the theme throughout the novel?
George and Lennie, because for the be careful who you trust, they basically George and Lennie.
Which characters did you despise, if any?
I probably despise Curly's wife because I didn't like her.
If you had a plan to buy your own ranch, would you share your plan with the other drifters?
Yes.
Would you have let Carlson shoot your dog if you were Candy?
No, I would have shot my own dog because if it's too old, I wouldn't want anybody else shooting the dog.
Did you enjoy the novel? Would you recommend Of Mice and Men to other students?
Yes, because it is a good book.
What do you think the theme was of the novel?
That everyone feels loneliness and they make you do crazy things.
What was your reaction to George assassinating Lennie?
I was shocked because George said that he'd never be mean or like, I don't know, he'd take care of Lennie.
In your words, how would you describe the interactions between Crooks and Slim?
It was really good.
Which characters help build the theme throughout the novel?
Like all of them, basically.
What characters did you despise, if any?
Probably Curly the most because he was just mad at everyone and I don't know.
If you had a plan to buy your own ranch, would you share your plan with the other drifters?
You'd have to, or I have to know them more.
Would you have let Carlson shoot your dog?
Yes, because the dog was a pig.
Did you enjoy the novel? Would you recommend Of Mice and Men to other students?
Yes, because it's a